Welcome to the CAC series on animal behavior. This is the chapter on life history strategies. If we were asked to tell someone the story of our lives, what would we say? It certainly would not be an easy task, would it? What about the life of someone else? What about the life of a different species? In biology, the life history of an organism refers to the series of events from birth until death, especially those regarding survival and reproduction. There are a variety of life history strategies that maximize the survival and reproduction for different species in different environments. These strategies fall along a continuum of R-selected species and K-selected species. Good examples of R-selected species are rabbits. Typical R-selected species reproduce at an early age and have high reproductive rates, rapid development, small body sizes, short lifespans, and low parental care of young. This strategy is ideal for organisms in rapidly changing environments. Since lifespans are shorter, the time between generations is shorter. Thus, they can evolve and adapt to changing environments at a faster rate. The emphasis in this strategy is on quantity. The greater the amount of offspring, the greater the likelihood that some will survive. At the other end of the spectrum, elephants are a great example of K-selected species. Typical K-selected species reproduce later in life and have low reproductive rates, slow development, large body sizes, long lifespans, and high parental care of young. This life history strategy is ideal for organisms that live in stable, yet highly competitive environments. This strategy favors quality over quantity. A greater amount of time and energy is invested in each offspring, especially in regards to parental care. Ideally, this investment of time and energy leads to stronger, healthier individuals with a greater likelihood of survival and reproduction. Nevertheless, remember that these species are examples of either extreme R-selected or K-selected species, and that these life history strategies are not just two distinct categories, but rather form a continuum. This means that some species do not strictly fall into one category or another, and may have some R-selected life history traits and some K-selected ones. For instance, think about species of sea turtles. They generally have large body sizes and long lives, which is typical of K-selected species, but also produce large numbers of offspring and provide little parental care, which is more typical of R-selected species. What about humans? Where do we fall on this spectrum? Well, like elephants, we are fairly clearly a K-selected species. And while we might not immediately jump to defining a K-selected species when asked to describe our lives, these life history traits essentially set the framework of our story. It is important to think about these traits when studying the lives of other species as well, and to remember that the life history strategy of every species tells a different story of survival.